Welcome. Good evening. It's been a while since I've been live. I did go live on last Friday and well, my voice was very weird and I do apologize. It's still not 100%. I hope you can understand most of what I say tonight. I will stream as long as it holds out. But I've got quite a few cases to update you on tonight. I picked four. If you saw the thumbnail, I guess you have an idea of who we will be talking about. Well, it's hi, Shill. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Mousy, it's good to see you too. And well, it's been a very busy day of trials. Yeah, I spent most of the day recording, so I have quite a few. Two actually coming out tonight. We're following the Zachary Hughes trial, as you are all aware from all of the updates into the playlist for the Zachary Hughes trial, or because of the delay and the many, many breaks that have been taken in that trial. Did I do believe I made the right call by not going live every day with that trial, because it's been a hella. And today I think we got like maybe 40 minutes of trial out of an 8-hour day. And I'm not kidding. you'll have you'll have to check out the video later tonight. We also had Karen Reed, which was abruptly stopped in the middle of the day, also, and you'll have to check that one out too. But it was fire. It was fire today in the courtrooms for the cases that we're covering. We've got quite a few for tonight. Well, let me just show you who we're going to be talking about. So there's been updates in Duane Davis's case, two major updates. And Duane Davis is charged with the murder of Tupac Shakur. We've been following that for a while. There was also an update in part of the P. Diddy case, the only civil part that we've been following, and that is the part that involves Jay-Z. And we've got some updates there. There's also big news in the with the Tate Brothers. I don't know what to make of it, but we'll all go over it. It's a bit convoluted, to say the least. And then the lovely Lindsay Shiver. Lindsay Shiver in the Bahamas, accused of the attempted murder of her husband, a conspiracy to commit murder against her husband, Robert Shiver. And, last week talked about her. She was back in jail for, well, we'll go into it, but there's big moves there too. It seems like everything had a little bit of shakeup, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. We still have to go over Kohlberger. We've got Paul Coelho. We've definitely got Millette. We've got the dentist, Mr. Craig. Also, some updates there. Some shenanigans going on over there in the pre-trial. We've got plenty to update with, not to mention what just happened in the Karen Reed trial. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys about Zachary Hughes' trial. So, I'd like you guys to just tell me, like, what would be a good day just to do like a Q&A, a question and answer, or just an open discussion in how you guys are all feeling about it. This is a very emotional case, Zachary Hughes. And I understand that a lot of you have a lot to say or a lot of feelings to express, and I don't blame you. I mean, I'm sitting there listening, and it's difficult. It really is. Most days I'm of two minds of the whole thing, but I'll save that for the discussion. But I would like to hear from you all on how you'd like to proceed with any of that. So I think, well, if anyone in the chat would like to choose which to go first, I will listen to you. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead with however they show up in order. So I'll give you a moment. I hope everybody is doing well. I feel like I've not been here in so long. I mean, I did do a mayhem, and it was a lot of fun. It definitely was a lot of fun. But I have not done True Crime and Legal Update live to talk with you all in about 2 weeks. It's been a little rough health-wise, my voice going in and out. But Oh, I don't have Karen on the schedule, Shill. We're definitely going to talk about her in the future. I did do the hearing today. There's going to be an update tonight. I'll be posting a video later tonight on that. But of these guys, Keffe D, Jay-Z, Lindsay, Shiver, or the Tate Brothers. Hey, any of those would be fine. And we will talk about Karen. That's gone crazy too. We're going to have to schedule a nice talk about Karen. We definitely will on the Karen Reed case. Okay, let's start then with okay. All right. Let me just pull that up. All righty, here we go. Okay, so we have the civil case filed by Attorney Busby for Jane Doe, first claiming charges similar to most of the civil cases of non-consensual contact and etc., drugging, her being underage, etc. Jane Doe filed a case against P. Diddy in civil court. After much to do, and apparently, according to Jay-Z, some contact, which he documented from Attorney Busby, saying that if he didn't get into conversations with them about settling this matter, he would be indicated as celebrity number 2 that was involved. We all saw the letters back and forth, and we have commented on these before, so we can pick it up from there. Well, Jay-Z did push back and said, hell no, I'm not negotiating. It's kind of like one of those we don't negotiate with terrorists kind of moves. He came back strong. He pushed back very hard on Attorney Busby, and to the point where he actually wrote a letter to the judge. His attorney is Alex Shapiro, and I know I've talked to you about Alex Shapiro before. I do believe he is one hell of an attorney. And if this case doesn't show you that, I don't know what does. He not only was wrestling with the judge, he was all over Attorney Busby. And, well, basically, long story short, Jane Doe did that interview. And there was a lot of conflicting information in regards to what she claimed to have happened in her affidavit, and then things that could be easily vetted by Alex Shapiro and Jay-Z's team. Okay. Now, this didn't come from P. Diddy, from Sean Combs's team. It was from the other Carter, from Sean Carter, the other Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, his team, actually vetted all of that information and proved point for point the improbabilities of this event actually happening anyway, the way Jane Doe is claiming. And we have gone over that in the past. You could check out those videos in the playlist for P. Diddy. But basically, time, place, orientation, none of it met. None of it. It was the improbabilities. There was so much wrong that couldn't be vetted. There was actually nothing that could be vetted in regards to her statements. Now, this looked really bad for Attorney Busby because attorneys should vet their cases before filing. Courts don't like to have their time wasted. And it really did actually add credit to the claims of Jay-Z, rather, that he was actually being muscled because he was a celebrity. He was being pinched for money to be named, and that there wasn't really a case here, and that Busby was acting like a shyster. And it did apparently look that way because, lo and behold, the case against Jay-Z and Sean Combs, P. Diddy, by Jane Doe, filed by Mr. Busby, has been dropped. Yup, dropped. Boop. Nope, no case. And here's the caveat to that. Not only is it dropped, it's dropped with prejudice. Voluntarily by Jane Doe, she can't file it again. Dropped with prejudice means she can't bring charges against Sean Combs and everyone listed, because she listed all his companies, or Jay-Z. Nope, not for this. It is done for that. But here's the other thing. On February 11th, well, Mr. Carter and his attorney, Alex Shapiro, well, they filed suit against Tony Busby, attorney Tony Busby, on February 10th. And in that lawsuit, he's alleging civil extortion, defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Jay-Z claims that Busby's actions, including of this filing of the now dismissed lawsuit accusing him of assault, were part of a deliberate attempt to damage his reputation and coerce a financial settlement. All illegal acts. He also asserts that the timing of the lawsuit, coinciding with his daughter Blue Ivy's Mufasa the Lion King movie premiere, was intended to inflict maximum emotional distress, that they planned it on purpose that way. Jay-Z reported in this lawsuit that he lost over $20 million in contracts due to these false allegations. And he didn't pull the suit. I'm sure Attorney Busby was hoping he would once the charges were dropped. But Jay-Z and his team, Alex Shapiro, are hella mad. And I don't blame them. But this is a win for P. Diddy, too, because the case has disappeared. One of his many, 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 many cases that he has against him in civil suit. Now, Jay-Z could actually make a criminal complaint against Tony Busby. And I'm wondering if they're actually going to file charges, an inquiry legally with the board, and I wonder what the status of Tony Busby's law license will be after this, because he only had courtesy permission to file this anyway. He used another attorney's permissions, which you can do temporarily to file a lawsuit. This makes everybody look bad. Now, New York can't file sanctions on him for a frivolous lawsuit because he really doesn't have a New York law license. However, where he does have a license, they still may take, not look at this very kindly, all of the shenanigans that has been done. And it seems like Jay-Z would have a pretty good case. And I would not be surprised if they have not made a complaint against him, as they should. I mean, a civil lawsuit is one thing, hurt him in his pocket, but really that's just making somebody suffer for something they did. It's not criminal charges, it's not going to affect his license, perhaps. But I'm going to keep an eye on this, because knowing Alex Shapiro and knowing how hella mad Jay-Z was because they messed with his family, his daughter's premiere, made this whole mess when they were trying to do other things. He lost $20 million, and that is not chump change. That's a lot of money. And that was in a short period of time. He does not want to be lumped into this P. Diddy stuff at all. And it's just like a warning sign to anybody else who tries to lump him in. Yes, he was associated with them. They were in business together on certain things. Yeah, he hung out with them and stuff. But I think this is a big warning to everybody. Don't go there. I'm ready. Because he came out swinging from the get-go. As soon as that name got dropped, as soon as that amended civil suit came in there with his name in it, he was like, hell no. And he let loose Alex Shapiro, and he got the job done. I'll tell you, that was interesting to me. That was, I was very surprised, and it happened so fast. But I have to say, I'm kind of happy for him. Now, the looming Jane Doe. Oh my gosh, you get ill, you just forget how to speak. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. Please be patient with me. I've literally forgot how to talk out here. Anyway, the looming picture you see of Jane Doe in the background is because I don't know what she's going to do. I mean, this is a person who something may have happened to her when she was younger. We don't know what it was, but it definitely wasn't as she stated. Everything she said got vetted to be absolutely improbable. The people she said she talked to weren't even in the country. The distance, the timing, all of it. Very improbable. I'm not going to say nothing happened to her because she seems to be adamant that something did. But what? We don't know. And who? We don't know. What we do know on that date, at that time, with the name of Jay-Z coming out of her mouth, was just proved bupkis. Zero. Not pursuable. And her attorney, Tony Busby, backed away. Now, Tony Busby has been taking a lot of heat for all of these lawsuits that he's filing. He's not naming the victims, but he wants to name and shame celebrities. There were letters that went out, like the one that Jay-Z showed, that, trying to get people to negotiate. We don't know how many people have negotiated and settled without getting named. That's all sick. I think there should be more looking into that. You guys know how I feel about bad legal manners in shisty lawyers. Like, they should have super charges on them, even worse than a standard criminal. Like, if they pull this kind of shenanigans, they should get twice the max that a normal person would get, because you know what? They know the law and they know better, and they take an oath. And if they're going to be shady and do this kind of stuff, I mean, he's trying to say he was hoodwinked because he took the case from another attorney's office and they vetted it. And I'm like, shame on you. If you don't cover your butt when you take a case, it's your license, it's your reputation. You're the one putting your name on it. It's your name on it. I'm not crying for him. I am not crying for him. Like, that's like standard 101, COA, cover your ass, don't take the word of anybody else if you're going to put your name on it. Anyway, he's getting what he deserves. A little bit of smack of humiliation here. And not that I think that Jay-Z's a great guy. I'm from the East Coast. There's rumors. I don't think he's so wonderful, but I think he's right in this situation. The timing, the situation, the strong arming, the naming and shaming, just because he's a celebrity. It doesn't give him a free pass for any bad behavior. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the way they handled this stunk. And I'm kind of glad that the case got dismissed, because the case was crap, and it should have been. It was a waste of the court's time. It was a waste of the media's frenzy. It just added to the mess that is already out there. And it was just crap. That's what I have to say about that. Let me check the chat. Hey, Mrs. Cassandra. Hey, Mandy. How you doing? Yo, Wrecker. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah. Hey, Rabbits. Nice to see you too. Yes, I hope you got some popcorn for that Diddler update, Mousy. Yup, Mrs. Cassandra, I agree. Thing is, now damage is done by $20 million worth. I mean, that's a lot of money. And that was fast, because that was just filed in December, and this is February, Hey, Rabbits, have a good sleep. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for dropping the like and saying hello. I'm glad you came in here in time, Cass, for the Diddler update. It was the first one. You're having McDonald's fries. Mousie's having popcorn. You're going to love the next one, too. You're going to love the next one. I'm just going to go through for see if there's any other questions. He hasn't really been associated with Diddy in a while. I mean, go after the ones that have stuck around. Exactly. The ones that are working with him every day. the ones that are still working with him while he's in court. I will tell you one update on Diddler on his actual criminal case is that the judge has actually come down on that motion to dismiss that Diddy's team filed because his rights were violated over that prison search. Judge has finally said, no, we're not dismissing this case. And no, I've gone over everything and they handled everything appropriately. And the prosecution has actually come forward and said, the notes that they got, since you think they're legal, we're not going to use them. We've got enough with you calling everybody and talking to everybody and doing everything you've been doing. We don't need your damn notes. So they're not even going to use them. So the judge said, in light of that, you got no case. You got nothing to complain about. No Fourth Amendment, no Second Amendment, no any amendment rights were violated. No Fourth, no Sixth, no nothing. You're getting a fair trial. That's the end of that. Okay. But, he's countersuing, P. Diddy. He's actually went after NBC Universal. Wait a minute. He's filing a lawsuit against NBC Universal, one of the biggest media companies out there, because they did a documentary about how he became a bad boy and his bad boy image. And he's upset about that. And I'm like, wait, like, Diddy, like, weren't you here the last 30 years when you actually cultivated that image? You were proud of it. You called yourself the bad boy. You said nobody messes with you. You threatened. You were on air everywhere, just puffing it out. Puff Daddy. That you were the man. You were the bad boy. You were the one not to mess with. That you were the ruler. Okay? You cultivated that damn reputation. Not NBC Universal. They're just telling everybody what you did. Like, I don't know about you guys, but that kind of, maybe it's because I don't feel good, but that struck me as hella funny. Like, hella fun. Like, sorry, not sorry, because I know I should take it a little more seriously. But this also seems like just a way to get his legal fees paid. He's just trying to get NBC to give him some money. So he shuts up so that he can pay some of these lawyers' fees, because he's got a lot of lawyer fees right now. A lot. He got that criminal case that we're following. But all those civil suits, that's a lot of paper shuffling. He did get a win, though. He did get a win in the last 2 weeks. And it wasn't just this one, because he didn't actually get this win. Jay-Z and Alex Shapiro did. They got this win for him. So, he got it by proxy. But there is a win that he did get with his attorneys. Remember that inmate who sued him himself and acted as his own lawyer and got a actual judgment because P. Diddy never showed up because he thought it was a frivolous suit. He didn't think anybody would take it seriously. But a judge said that the guy proved enough that gave him a... Diddy never responded, so they gave him a settlement. Well, Diddy did actively get his lawyer involved once he got the notice that he had to pay the man. And he knew the man was lying. He knew he never even met the man. This guy in prison, he sues like everybody. His name is Rodney, and he's pretty good. He's been studying the law books, and he has been convincing people. But he did get his settlement at least ordered. But it did, like, Diddy got on it right away with his attorneys, and they went in there and they convinced the judge that they didn't know about it, give them time to file. So they did file. They proved that he never even met the guy. Nothing the guy could say is true. It had the whole thing overturned and thrown out of court. So Diddy did get a win. And that's the only win. And it was against a serial law filer who's in prison that he never met. That was the only win. And that was an easy win. And had he shown up, he would have got that win a long time ago. But, he just couldn't be bothered. So, anyway. So now he's got fees to pay for that one anyway. So he's going after NBC Universal now. So anyway, that's our Diddy update a little bit more. Let's just say, hey, Grace, good to see you. Yes, Mrs. Cassandra, when it comes to Jane Doe, her own father couldn't back up her statement that he had come to pick her up and she was so upset. He would have remembered, especially since he had to drive like 2.5 hours to 3 hours out of his way to get her. Yeah. Yep. It was incredible. Exactly. He's got no reason to be upset about searches in jail. You have no rights to privacy in jail. You call only your communications with your attorney. And even then, if they're sus, they can get a subpoena for these stuff because like we've had people threaten their attorneys. We all kinds of stuff. We've had cases where they had to use the footage of private calls with the attorneys or some interactions. And there is a way, but mostly no. Like anything to do with an attorney is verboten. But everything else, they have it. That's how they know he's using other people's phones. That's how he knows that he's dialing in with other inmates' ID numbers to try to hide who he's calling and what he's doing. They have it all. They have video, they have audio, they have it all. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. I mean, you're going to do exactly what they're accusing of you doing on the outside, which is not obeying the laws and organizing yourself as you're above it to make money and do whatever you want, intimidate and pressure people and all of this. And then you go into jail and then you do all of that and let them document it. You're just helping them build their case. You're actually giving them stuff to convince the jury you are that guy. Like, how are you going to stand in front of a jury and say, I didn't do it, not me. I would never do such a thing. When as soon as you got in jail, you did it, everything except for like the non-consensual stuff, in jail. But remember, this is a RICO case. The criminal case is a RICO case. It's not this, it is about the trafficking. Well, that's secondary to the RICO. They're really going to get them on the gangster clause, like I close it. Making money illegally, however you want, to do whatever you want. And that's a catch-all in New York, and it gets a lot of people. Yeah, he's acting like a criminal, and it's not helping him. Like, how do you go in front of a jury and say, I'm not the criminal? I just act like one. All right, I realize I'm having a little too much fun. Some of these cases are hitting me funny, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to, like, buckle up, buttercups, because it gets worse. Yep. Now you want now they're having cookies in the chat. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Yeah, that's what he used to say, Mrs. Cassandra. Bad boys for life. And now he's complaining because NBC Universal agrees with him. That's going to be a hard case to win. There's going to be a hard case to win. Very much. Oh, I want cookies. Cookies in the chat for me, please, people. Send some more. Share with everybody there, Mrs. C. Send all those cookies out. Okay. All right. Let me get the next one ready if there's no more questions. But I hope you all found that I didn't annoy you with my laughing or anything, because I got to tell you, like that hit me funny. That definitely just cracked me up about P. Diddy. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. I'm sorry if that hit your ears. All right. Oh, this is the next one. Another one for you, Mrs. Cassandra. Look, I got Tupac here for you. Hell no, I say laugh away. Thank you very much. It does feel good to laugh. And you know what? It really feels good to be chatting with you guys here in the chat. Thank you so much for coming to the live after I've been like MIA for so long. Like, I really, really appreciate it. I'm glad you didn't hear it, Mrs. Cassandra, because I hit the intro by mistake. Yep. And there is our sexy Shakur, Mr. Shakur, Tupac. Okay, this case, Keffe D, Duane Davis, okay? For years, he's been saying he was there. He was the lead of the gang. It was his gang that took out Tupac under kind of direct orders of P. Diddy, under kind of something like that. That's been the rumor. This man has made money on these statements for years. He acted like the big guy on every interview, everywhere, for 27 years. It's all been about him. He is the only survivor in the white car. His nephew, the other two guys, all gone. All right. In the other car was Tupac and Suge Knight. Suge Knight's been locked up. It's just Suge Knight and Keffe D that survived. And all this time, Keffe D's been saying he bought the gun for the shooting, gave it to the shooter, and the shooter shot Tupac right from the white car that he supposedly was in Las Vegas. Okay. Those have been the statements. We all heard them. He wrote a book. He did interviews. He contested when the detective that did his way back drug crimes did interviews with him, and he gave the information about P. Diddy and the Tupac under what he thought was a proffer for the drug charges, which was only for that area, and he was never charged. But it wasn't to not be charged for Tupac's murder. There was no immunity agreement ever. It was a tit for tat in regards to the drug charges that were happening at the time because his gang was involved in dealing drugs, which he admitted. Okay. Now, he's been boasting arrogantly for years about this. When I tell you what he's doing now, well, buckle up, get ready. Let me just tell you the soft stuff first. I know I'm going to tease you a little bit here, just a little bit, because other things happened first. First of all, his attorney, Carl Arnold, who is a very odd voice and very weird presentation, but he's a killer attorney. He goes for it. He filed with Judge Cruz a motion to dismiss, saying that the prosecution doesn't know what they're talking about because all they have is Keffe D's word. And Keffe D was protected under an agreement, and he's been hoodwinked, and y'all are persecuting him. Okay, and all you have is his word. And if he had an immunity agreement, you can't use his word. Well, we all know that the immunity agreement got debunked. All left, right, up, down, every side you can imagine, it got debunked. And then it got debunked again. He then said, well, I'm sorry. You knew about this all along. And if you waited 27 years, you really can't do anything about it now. But Mr. Arnold knows there's no statute of limitations on murder. So that was just like fluff. That was just throwing it in there so that I would report on it and everybody else so that we would all talk about it because he knew that wasn't going anywhere. Anyway, our Judge Cruz, she just said, no, motion dismissed, denied. We'll see you in court. And as of I knew, we were going to court this March. But then, well, sometime in December 23rd or January 24th or 25th, depending on whose reporting you look at, well, Keffe D got into an altercation. Now, during his hearing after December 23rd, he did mention that he was attacked to the judge, and he said he was being persecuted. And he stood up and said he wanted to make a complaint. And I remember that hearing. And he did say so. And apparently, he got into it with another inmate, just the two of them. There was only one guard present. And apparently, they went like they wouldn't stop. They got sprayed. They still wouldn't stop. They separated them. They came at each other again. Lo and behold, both of them are up on battery charges against each other by the prison system. So they both caught charges for that. The funny thing is there's two different dates. Some are saying the altercation happened in January. And that's what the filing says. But Keffe D is showing pictures that it happened in December. His attorney came forward with pictures showing the guy attacking Keffe D. And prosecution showed pictures of Keffe D attacking the other inmate. So they've got the duel of the photos, the duel of the scenarios, the duel of the dates. But lo and behold, it doesn't even matter because on the 13th of February, both Keffe D, Duane Davis, and the other inmate had their arraignment. They both pled not guilty. Keffe D, to the judge, said, I'm gonna invoke my 60-day right, which means he has to go to trial within 60 days for this battery charge. He's not guilty. Wants the trial over with within 60 days. Okay, that's fine. So we've got a tentative date for April for this trial. We're supposed to go to trial for the murder in April, in March rather. But no, we're not going to trial for the murder in March. Because here's the clincher. While he's in there doing fisticuffs with everybody and being bad and catching himself additional charges, his lawyer's preparing documentation for the court that they want to delay the trial for the murder charge because they have a witness that can support Duane Davis's new claim that he wasn't even in Las Vegas when Tupac got shot. He had nothing to do with it. It was a rival gang. 27 years of spouting around like a peacock that he was the man. And now he's saying, nope, I'm a liar. None of it's true. I made that money. I didn't know what I was talking about. And we're going to get a witness to say so. Yeah, I feel you. You can get up off the floor now. It's true. That's exactly what they did. How Carl Arnold said that to a judge in a courtroom with a straight face, I don't know. Well, actually, he hasn't yet. He just wrote it. How he's going to get up there and face the judge with this, I have no idea. But I want to see that hearing because I got to see his face. This man, for 27 or upwards of almost 30 years, I guess it's 30 years, okay? What? He's been bragging. He's been boasting. He's been writing books and doing interviews. And man, he would have took a movie deal showing that he shot Tupac if he could. He wanted all the cred. And now that he has to pay the price for it, it's like, nope, wasn't me. Wasn't me. Damn, that's desperate. That smells of desperation like I don't know what. I do not know how they think that this is going to go. I don't know what the witness is. I just know that the judge granted them time. Mrs. Cassandra says, where's this witness been the last 27? Yeah, probably getting money from Keffe D not to say anything while he was lying. Maybe he got some kickback. I don't know. But the way this gangster works, I don't really think he would pay anybody anything. So, yeah, like where they been? They were in a hospital in a coma, Mrs. Cassandra. And they just woke up with clear memory of what actually happened. Yeah, like, cut me a break. This is, yep. Biggie was getting too famous. He did that too. Yeah, you know what? I have feels on that, Mrs. Cassandra. Yep. Yep. It's kind of sus being the only two survivors. You know, on that line, Mrs. Cassandra, I do think that Suge may have had something to do with it. I don't think Suge, you know, we all know Suge Knight's not such a great character. He'd stab you in the back as well as look at you if there was a buck in it. We all know that. But he is keeping his mouth shut. He does have a rule that he follows, and he ain't no rat. He ain't saying nothing. He ain't going to say anything. He actually made a statement to say, I ain't saying anything when all of this came out. But I don't know. I do think that P. Diddy, Sean Combs, is involved with the record companies and everything and what was going on at the time. I do think he was involved somehow, but gosh, I don't know how this is really gonna play out. But it's total insanity as far as that's concerned. But anyway, we're gonna have a trial in April for the 60 days. For the 60 days on the battery, but we're not going to go to trial until 2026 on Keffe D. February 9th of 2026. Our Judge Cruz, Laura Cruz, That's when she scheduled it for. And the hearing was on the 13th. He was due on court on the 11th. I think it got moved by a day or two because he had to go to the other court. But it was crazy. It was definitely crazy. He had to be in both hearings, and they were in two different places, two different judges, and one of them he missed, and it got rescheduled. So I'm not sure on the dates. But on the 11th and the 13th, both of these hearings happened. Which one happened on which date is beyond my figuring out at this moment, to tell you the truth. But he's definitely not going to be on trial for the murder now until 2026. Well, I was kind of looking forward to this trial because, like, Keffe does like to talk, and I could see that he would probably take the stand. And I just wanted to hear the ridiculousness of the whole thing again. And I did want justice for Tupac's family. They have waited so long for justice in this matter. This man has been going around saying that he knows who did it for all these years and wasn't arrested and was not made to pay. And now he's up on charges. And all of a sudden, they've got a year now to go find a witness to prove he wasn't in Las Vegas. Good luck. Because I don't think prosecution brings a 27 to 30-year-old case if when they searched his house, they didn't have proof that he was in Las Vegas at the time of the crime. Sorry, I just don't think, I don't know, maybe I'm jaded, but I don't really think law enforcement's that dumb. I don't think prosecution likes to waste their time like that. I think they're too damn busy to mess with a fool like him if they didn't have the evidence to prove it. I mean, his own statements say he did it. And he taunted them with the statements. He said, and they ain't arrested me yet, and they never will. They ain't got nothing on me. They said it over and over. It's crazy. Well, I wish I could see your faces right now because you had to clean your ears. It's crazy, right? It's absolutely, yeah. He said it. He said it. He did. I wish I could see your faces. I mean, come on. Is this not like Twilight Zone? Like, definitely. It's just unbelievable. But it's happening. It's happening in Nevada, in the court. And I really feel for Judge Cruz. I think she was just like, okay, well, I'm not going to have to see you till June now, because she scheduled the hearing for June again to see what the progress is on this investigation, because she's going to keep her tabs on the attorney, I'm sure, in prosecution on how they're dealing with all this. The Commonwealth really didn't have much to say. They really can't stop you from investigating. If you've got a new lead on something or a new witness, it's really not in their best interest to stop you or delay the trial or not give you the time to do it, especially if they really want success in not having anything overturned in appeal. The judge did grant the delay. We'll see what happens, but it just keeps getting pushed farther away. And like I said, the ones that are getting hurt the most by this is the family. I mean, justice for Tupac Shakur is being delayed again. And that just doesn't seem fair. It's been so long already, you know? It's been too long already, you know? That one was pretty crazy. Mandy, if you're still here, you're going to love this one, the next one. The next one, actually, I'm going to talk about. Mandy actually brought this one to me. I did not know too much about it. Yep, it's been almost 30 years. I agree, Mrs. Cassandra. Way too long. Way too long. You know, it was a tragedy. He was so young, you know, but, you know, that lifestyle, I mean, he was in it. He was back in it for sure. But still, a great loss. And he deserves justice. And his family deserves justice. Everybody who loved him. Justice should be served. And this is just another delay. I mean, I want Keffe to get a fair trial. It's kind of hard because he keeps messing stuff up for himself. He just can't help but getting in his own way. If there's a witness, bring them. Are they credible? I don't know. Because remember, I hate to throw kerosene on the fire of doubt, but here it goes. I mean, this is the same guy who fought to get bail, got it stated at $750,000, but then brought liars into the court on how they acquired the money and where it came from, that actually got caught emailing each other the same thing on what to say in court and how to fudge where they got the money and don't tell the truth. And so the judge had serious doubts that the money was not clean and that there wasn't some kind of side deal going on for Keffe to give like a book deal or something for the money in return, because it was an agent who actually came up with the money and they couldn't answer anything. And then when the prosecution asked a few questions and some discovery was done, there were all these emails where people copy and pasted exactly what to say to the judge to make it all look legit. Yes, like he blew it himself. And just asking people to lie and fudge and just take care of it, which makes me wonder, like, what's going to happen with this witness thing? Like, I mean, if they're going to do it the wrong way, please don't leave a paper trail. I mean, oh gosh, but please do, because that's going to be entertaining. Yeah, it is so sad. This guy just keeps getting in his own way. But enough of Keffe. Let's put him to rest for a little while. Apparently we get to cool our heels on that for a bit, unless we just find out what happens with the battery charge, which he's in jail. He's not going to get out. There's evidence that he hit the guy. They're both going to get more time. That's it. Nobody's going to be innocent in this case. So there's really nothing exciting that we're going to find out in like 60 days at that trial, except for he might give us some sound bites and some things to pontificate on, as far as his appearance in court. Well, we'll see about that. Okay, so the next one. Oh, wrong again. I keep hitting the wrong button. Sorry, guys. I'll get back in the swing of things, I promise. Eventually. All right. Anybody recognize the woman in the glasses? I gave you her name. Lindsay Shiver. Okay, this case. All right, Lindsay Shiver, the Georgia mother, former beauty queen, arrested in the Bahamas in July 2023 for allegedly conspiring to murder her estranged husband, ex-NFL player Robert Shiver. She had the assistance of her, I have to keep saying alleged, Bohemian lover, Terrence Bethel, pictured there with her, and an alleged hitman, his best friend, Fannin Newfold Jr. All three have pled not guilty to charges in the Bahamas. There actually was a robbery at a bar, and when their phones were confiscated, they found the text messages between the three of them conspiring to kill. So it was an accidental discovery. It was a oops. There's also rumor that when she was pulled in for questioning, that Lindsay actually confessed that she did send all of those text messages with a picture of her husband and said, kill him, literally kill him, but that she was joking. All right. Anyway, she got arrested. She got bail. Then, well, while she was out on bail, she got hauled back in because in the Bahamas, they really don't like you speaking about the cases while you're up for a case. It's not like here in America. I mean, God, can you imagine? Karen Reed would never get out of jail. Like, she talks to every news reporter she could possibly talk to, and then some. Okay, like you're here in America, you're allowed to talk about your case. The defendant has a right to say whatever they want. Of course, everything they say can be used against them, but it's not the same in the Bahamas. They don't like it. And she actually did a Good Morning America interview without court approval. Now, she could have asked for court approval, but she didn't. Okay. And she participated in a Good Morning America interview with Terrence Bethel, her alleged boyfriend, prior, ex-alleged, they're no longer together. And he did an interview, and she was seen in pictures with him. And she says it's all their fault because they violated the contract and showed it before she made it to court. But no, they tried to get away with it and they got caught. They all, Terrence Bethel, and Lindsay Shiver got thrown back in jail. Yep, they got arrested in the Bahamas, But recently, there was another hearing, and she did get released on bail again. Okay, basically because there are such high priority case in the Bahamas right now, and their courts are tied up because of how long she was going to be in jail waiting for court. They decided to let her out again with an ankle monitor back to Georgia under like really strict limitations, and all of this, not supposed to speak to the media, all of that, because it was going to be so long for her trial. They don't even have a trial date, but it is anticipated to be at the end of this year or the beginning of next year now. They have had to move it several times. There are some other high priority cases that are taking precedent, and this is the judge's prerogative. So they did let her out, and she's out, but we'll see how long that lasts because Lindsay Shiver cannot keep her mouth shut. That's for sure. That's about all there is on it, except for the fact that there was another claim by Lindsay Shiver that another boyfriend that she had after Terrence Bethel had tried to smother her. And apparently that's coming through to be not provable. And if they do that, and then she goes to trial with allegations against Robert Shiver that he was abusive to her, it looks like she just makes false claims. I mean, she's really setting herself up bad here as a defendant, as being believable or being able to follow the rules. She looks a little entitled, not following Bahamas rules. I mean, that's where the crime was. And it was the kind of crime where it's so weird how they found out about it, because like it's not like they were looking for her or anybody reported her. Now Robert knew that there was problems. They had been having, domestic problems. We've all seen the video of, when she wanted to go to the Bahamas to see her boyfriend, and Robert didn't feel like he should let her on the family jet when they were having a family vacation. It wasn't appropriate, and they had a big fight. And she called the cops. Like, what were they supposed to do? They can't make him let her on the plane. They were still living together at the time. Okay. But anyway, in the interview for Good Morning America, Terrence Bethel tried to convince everybody that this was all just a joke, that his friend Farron Newell would never kill anybody, that he's being blamed for something he didn't do, that this was all a joke back and forth, that Lindsay was just letting off steam, and that it's really nothing. And he tried to give a good, he presented himself well. I don't know if it's believable. I don't, he got into a relationship with Lindsay Shiver, and I'm sure he probably regrets it at this point, except for the 15 minutes of fame and whatever money Good Morning America may have paid him for the interview. I'm sure it's, elevating his lifestyle a little bit with the notoriety. However, being faced with being sent to jail for conspiracy to murder at any time, well, that's really not a good thing. And that kind of takes a lot of the shine off the situation, doesn't it? So, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But she's here. She's here, and I expect to see the media pick up on it here in America soon. Can't imagine she's going to be quiet about anything, but we'll see. Maybe she'll be a good girl and just wait. I mean, she's got time. Let's hope she visits with her children, because she's been kept away from them while she was in jail again. And let's hope that she behaves herself and agrees with the custody and doesn't cause any more trouble for the in-laws or Robert or anyone else. Okay. Anyone else. But, well, fingers crossed, but somehow I think we'll be disappointed. I don't think she can do it, but we'll see. I want to thank you again, Mandy, for this case, because she's keeping me entertained also, which is why she's in this group that I picked today to do, because I mean, every part of them was like, yeah. Mousy says she didn't know. No. Yeah, she did. And they got televised. It was crazy. She didn't think they'd know. Sarah Boone would have lost her fingers for right. Yes, she would have been writing from Bahamas. Yes, she would. Grace says, Farron Newbold sounds like a trust fund kid. He does, but he's not. Like, but it does. Farron Newbold, right? It does. It does sound kind of like a fancy name, doesn't it? Terrence Bethall is a pretty cool name too. You know, they sound like up and coming, rich and famous, but they're not. They're really not. They're just average people living in the Bahamas, working for a living. Farron was the one who worked at the bar, and that's how his phone got looked at because of the robbery that happened there. Well, it's crazy, just a crazy situation to get caught like that. Well, anyway, it's even crazier if you can't obey the rules and you just keep getting yourself in more hot water over the whole thing, you know. Because they're looking at quite a few years for conspiracy, and in Bahamas, they don't take it lightly. They're very serious. You know, they don't want you doing interviews. They don't want you anything else. These violations, you go right back to jail. They don't care. You know, but if it wasn't for the actual, you know, congestion of the court system right now in the high profile cases that they're dealing with, she'd still be sitting there. I mean, this is a grace she was given. Let's hope she uses it to her advantage. Caught in 4K? Yes, Cass, I would say she was. Caught in 4K. And speaking of that, oh my. And I know you're all going to groan when you see the next one. I'm ready for it, though. I'm ready for it. It has to be done, though. You'll have to forgive me because it just has to be done. Like, there's no way we cannot talk about this one tonight. All right. I'll let you catch your breath. I'm going to just take a sip of water. Excuse me for a moment. I'm almost made it to the 1 hour mark. Rip the Band-Aid off. All right, here you go, Cass. Let's see if I push the right button this time. Oh, look, I did. There you go. There it is. There's your open, gaping wound. Yes, it's the Tate Brothers. Again. Why? Every time I'm up here, I feel like I have to say Tate every time I go live anymore. Well, we definitely have to talk about Andrew and Tristan Tate in their Romanian case, in their Florida case, a little bit of their UK case. You know, what the hell, USA, about the case? Like, okay. It's just, yeah, you just had to, right, Cass? That you just saw it coming from 10 miles away, I'm sure. I mean, it just wouldn't be a Tuesday if it wasn't Tate, you know? It just wasn't. Anyway, recently, we know that the Romanian case has come to a stall. It was sent back to DCOT, you know, for some adjustments. The first case has to be re-indicted. The second case needs to actually start moving forward towards indictment, okay? But recently, because they had reached the 180-day maximum on house arrest, Andrew Tate was put on judicial control, same as Tristan. They let him out of the house. And oh boy, since he's been out of the house, things have got lit. Things got lit, okay? That's a win for him. You get some fresh air, you get to walk around Romania a little bit. Not a bad deal. Okay, you got to wait. I don't think you should have to wait in your living room, as long as you're not intimidating witnesses and such. But, hey, we'll see, because that's how he got on house arrest. The second indictment clearly has evidence of him intimidating witnesses while he's in Romania dealing with the first case. The one that they say doesn't exist. It has no evidence. Anyway, we're still waiting on DCOT to do the re-indictment, whether they're going to go forward with one indictment for both cases or what. That is pending. I don't have anything on that right now. What I do have is in Florida. Remember we said that the Jane Doe, a victim in Romania, whose relatives filed with the embassy and started this whole thing, okay, which is why Andrew Tate sued them in Florida. Her mother, her father, the person who went to the embassy, and her for slander, defamation, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Everybody else from the case got dismissed except for Jane Doe, because Jane Doe actually has texts where she was going to like try to screw with Andrew seriously. And so the judge says, okay, there's something here. Let's let the jury decide if she was out of bounds or not. But that's up to the jury, not to me. But everybody else, you can't sue her parents for coming to Romania and reporting that you wouldn't give her like she couldn't travel because you had her passport. And you can't sue the other guy for going to the embassy for reporting you for criminal crimes, for investigation. Like, you can't, because you're under investigation in Romania. You got charges for exactly what they reported you for. So he threw all of them out. Okay. But here's the thing. Andrew Tate allegedly sent people to Florida to intimidate Jane Doe. And Jane Doe got a little pissed off. She got scared. She had to hire private protection. She was being slandered everywhere. She was being intimidated. And she decided, well, I'm going to be in it anyway. Now she's suing Andrew Tate. And if she sues Andrew Tate, all of her evidence is coming from Romania, and it's all in. All of the text messages and all of the evidence from Romania is coming into the Florida case. Andrew Tate and his team, well, there's no other way to put it. They shit their pants, literally, at that, because that's a slam dunk. How can you say somebody defamed you when these are the actual charges you're up against? Everything they said, you're being charged with. There's a third party, a credible source that says it's probably true. The likelihood, you can't defame for that. You can't defame for that. And you can't say that she cost you money when it's the charges in Romania that cost you all your money and the not paying of your taxes in the UK, which is also getting into them. So Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate's lawyers actually filed a really long petition to the court to put a gag order on everything in Florida. It's been going like crazy for over a year because Andrew Tate was using it to intimidate all the other witnesses, to show them that this is what would happen to them if they spoke up, that he was going to come at them and sue them and cost them all of this grief. Well, now he wants a gag order, so nobody knows what's going on because it's not going his way. And it looks really, really bad for them. So that was the somewhat amusing part of the whole thing, So he did get a win. He's out walking around in the fresh air. And he got a slight win by some attention from the U.S. government, because it seems that Richard Grenell was in Romania. And there is speculation, and I say speculation because nobody is agreeing on what happened, including the Prime Minister of Romania. Apparently, they met with Grenell. Grenell says, we didn't really talk much about the Tates, although he has been quoted all the way going there about how much he loves the Tates and how they should be able to leave Romania. And they need their passports back because it's just not criminal. They're not guilty yet. Anyway, it looked like under the guise of Trump and Elon Musk. And let's be clear, Elon Musk, he likes Tate. Tate makes him a lot of money on X. No doubt about it. It's all about money with these guys. And they both have said that they're being wrongfully accused. Both Trump in previous statements in the past. I will admit I didn't find one recently because I think he's being smart about it. But I did see plenty from Elon Musk supporting Tate in the mission. And Richard Grenell has definitely not been quiet about his support of the Tate brothers for sex trafficking and, sexual acts with minors, whether consensual or not. Statutory is statutory. You need to be legal age, dude. Anyway. Richard Grenell says he did meet with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister says they did not have any talk about releasing the Tate brothers from control in Romania or going lighter on them. They actually forced all of the press and all of the hullabaloo about it. And I will admit that the media is probably making a hell of a lot more out of this than it actually was. Okay. Because we're never going to know what they said to each other. Let's be real. We're never going to know what Grenell said to the prime minister. We're never going to know that. Okay. But, I mean, I do know that Mauricio Barbo, the guy in Romania, the reporter that I get a lot of the information on the Tate brothers, I do know that he was really upset and feels that he was outright lied to. Now, I don't have a link to Twitter anymore for him because he left Twitter because Russia was filing charges on him and threatening him over his Ukraine coverage. But I do have his Blue Sky account of the whole thing. And I have listed you that link. If you have a Blue Sky, you can see what he read about that. But he feels duped. He feels he was lied right to his face by the prime minister and his associates in regards to this matter. He does not feel that they were telling the truth. A couple of days after this meeting, or a day or so after this meeting, the prime minister actually came out and said he has no control over the prosecutors or the judicial system. They are independent of him, and he doesn't interfere with any of that. But the fact that he had to come out and say that means to me, well, there actually could be something here, you know? And why are they so interested in getting him out? You know? Mm. And is facing charges. So why shouldn't he be under judicial control? And here's the thing. You could push all you want to try to get him free. He'd go into the UK to face those charges. As soon as he's out, he's going to get extradited. He's not going to be a free man. The UK already got him for the tax evasion. You think they're going to let him out until they prosecute him? Do you think he'll get to walk around the streets of London while he waits for trial? I don't think so. Anyway, they could do what they want. But like I said, I do think the media might be making a bit much. No, Mrs. Cassandra, you absolutely can't. Even if they tell you it's okay, it's still statutory and against the law. Doesn't matter what the minor says. Yeah, Drake, they're friends too. Yeah, I know. They like Drake too. Don't get me started on Drake. If you could have heard my conversations about Drake over the last week, your hair would go on fire. Like, you don't want to get me started on Drake. Hey, Tate, I hear you like them young. Mrs. Cassandra, you're reading my mind. Like, how'd you know? I got Lamar in my head right now. Did you see the look on his face when he said that at the Super Bowl? Like that grin, like that was evil. Like he really enjoyed doing that to that man. That was brutal. It was freaking brutal. Yep. I know, Mrs. Cassandra. Nobody really wants to go on Blue Sky either. There's just too much. But that's the only link I have to this reporter. In that I had to sign up to Blue Sky so I could follow him because he translates everything from Romanian for me. Like, and he's a real reporter, and he's there. And he did really good coverage on Ukraine. I kind of trust him. I do. This song is everywhere, everywhere. I'm very happy for Kendrick in the accomplishment that he made. First rapper to reach 100 million subs on Spotify. Come on, like that was something. And most watched Super Bowl performance ever, half show. Like that was right. Not everybody. I mean, it is controversial. Not everybody agrees with it. But I liked his message. I liked his message about the divided America. I liked his message about all of it. I did. And he was snarky AF when it came to Drake. Like he just, yeah, truth, proof that trauma sells. It sure does. It sure does. I'm kind of like, I was wondering if I should cover the Drake lawsuit, but he didn't sue Lamar. He only sued the record company. So, like, for me, it's just not as much fun. I just watch the beefs on the commentary channels, on the rap commentary channels. Like, it's pretty funny. It's almost a daily thing. But anyway, any questions about Tate? Probably not, right? Because like nobody wants to talk about Andrew Tate anymore. You know, everybody was watching to see if he was going to do that song. Exactly. And he did that song and he put the words in it. Like Drake didn't sue him, right? You know, and so he did it. And he knew that. And then when the audience sang the words, like that was that. Wow, that had to hurt. That had to hurt. It's bad enough the guy's coming at you, but when the whole audience is helping him, the this little that was rough. Not that I feel bad for Drake. Man, is he an egomaniac. I don't feel bad for him at all. Yeah. Are you singing? Are you singing for us, Mrs. Cassandra? All right. So that was it for my update. So I know I did get a request that y'all want to talk about what's going on with Karen Reed, and I do too. And I also want to talk about this Zachary Hughes trial. Man, was that crazy today? Both the Reed hearing and Zachary Hughes just had me like on fire today. I'll have videos out later tonight. I just about finished the edit on the Reed, and I'm finishing up on Zachary Hughes, and I'll be recording tomorrow the hearing again, you know. But I definitely want to talk to you all about it. I definitely do. If you've got something to say, especially on the Zachary Hughes, because I know how emotional that subject is, and I feel bad. It's very difficult to hear some of what's going on, especially because it's supposed to be a murder trial, and it's all about trying the victim instead for other crimes that are not charged in this case, and it's really sad to see, you know. And I have my feels on it, and I just definitely want to see if anybody else wants to talk about it. But perhaps, you know, sometime during the week, you know, what's today, Tuesday, you know, why don't you guys hit the back of this video with times, or hit me up in DM or in Discord or somewhere. If there's a convenient time, like let's just do an hour and just like get it all out. You know, like let's just get it all out. Let you guys vent, you know, ask questions and do whatever, especially once you see the hearings from today. Man, was that crazy. It was definitely crazy. Well, on that, we've got plenty of other things coming up for the week. I'm still nursing this disgusting voice of mine and this head thing that's going on. But it's getting better. It's getting better all the time. So hopefully I'll be back. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe Thursday before shenanigans, you know, which goes off, I believe, at 8 o'clock. Around 8 o'clock. Yeah. And on Thursdays. And then, well, we usually do something on Friday, and if we don't do it on Friday, we're definitely doing something on Sunday. We'll do a hang of some type. If it's not going to be Bear and B, we will definitely do a hang for everybody so we can talk. And I miss you guys. It was really great having everybody at Mayhem on Friday, and for some reason, that actually took off. You know, do you love the way my mouth moves? It doesn't always stay in sync. It kind of makes me look silly sometimes, but blah, 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 blah. It really gets upset. It really goes out of whack if I start laughing. I don't know if you noticed, but I really had fun on Mayhem, and it seemed like the internet liked it too, because for some reason it got picked up by YouTube's ads, and there it goes. So, hey, Mrs. Cassandra, Mip it, you're going to be famous. Anyway, thanks all for hanging out, and I will be back again soon. Can't get rid of me, but I do appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and please, whether you like the content or not, leave me a comment, because if you like it, I'd like to hear that. But if you don't, I want to know what you'd like to see different. And if there's cases that you want covered that I'm not, or there's things you want to talk about or questions you want to ask, comment section. I answer everything. So on that, we'll see you all soon. Thanks, everybody.